All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. You can see that the pre-market here of New York session has been rallying on some steady unemployment and jobs data. Unemployment remained at 4.2%, and we got some decent payroll and job data that has been maintaining. It's been pretty steady, and some payroll data came out today that we got a little bit. Our average hours worked per week was actually a little bit higher than normal, um, kind of showing the opposite of what like recessionary uh, ideas would be saying, where if companies were going to be cutting back, they would be cutting back on hours before they started laying employees off. And what the numbers today showed, and it's very slight differences, but this is what they were talking about this morning, um, that the average work hours worked weekly went up slightly. So kind of the opposite of what we have been talking about lately, recessionary and whatnot. And the market now has a lot of enthusiasm that both tariffs and interest rates will be decreasing as the year continues. So, the market usually starts pricing things in about 6 months in advance, and that's where this excitement and this movement up for the past couple days, week or so, has really been kind of coming from the idea that we're both going to get interest rate cuts and lower tariffs by the end of the year. So just a kind of idea of where all that's coming from and why we've been pushing up. And there is a lot of enthusiasm behind all of this. So any decently good data that comes out, the market is running with it. But that could also be true, to the other side. So still have to be careful and be vigilant about that. So, right. So New York session is open. We didn't really get any volatility this morning. Very, very steady price action here. See what we get here. We've continued to make new highs here after our rally here. This was 8:30 in the morning, right when that data came out. We got a nice rally here, and we've just been continuing. Very nice structure here. Very steady step over step over step move to the upside. So decent pullback here. It looks like we still have some excitement behind the market here. Just see where it goes. You can see on the 15-minute time frame here, we never pushed below our opening candle here. We've just continued to really rally here. A little rally in the Asian session last night, bunch of consolidation, and then when we got that news this morning, we continued to pump, breaking above highs of yesterday. And let's just see if we can get an idea of where we might be heading if we do continue to the upside. Look at that. If we do continue and break above this 20,000, which is kind of where we're sitting here, the next stop looks like it might be at the 20,500 on NQ if we continue moving up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up getting a pullback. I wouldn't mind price coming back to, one of our key levels here. And then I would imagine we'd probably continue moving to the upside. There's really nothing or no reason to change direction as of yet. Yeah, so we had unemployment rate here remained steady at 4.2%. That's at expectation. Non-farm payrolls actually came in much higher than expected. We were expecting 138K. We got 177. Average earnings year over year, slightly lower. We were expecting 3.9%. We got 3.8%, which is the same as previous. Private payrolls also came in much higher than expected. Average work week hours, the expectation in line with previous was 34.2. We got 34.3. Again, like I said, minuscule, but market's still looking at it as not a sign for recession, right? So that's why we're moving here. Let's see. Yeah, that's really about it. We have, at 10 o'clock, we have durable goods. Or those are just revisions for durable goods. U.S. factory orders month over month comes in at 10 also. And then that's it for today. So unless we get some kind of terrible news, even if we get a relatively decent pullback here, I would still be probably looking for longs today. Again, we just got to watch. Make sure we're paying attention to price action. So I wouldn't be terribly upset if we came all the way back down to our control here, gave a little bit of consolidation and some support, and then we could possibly head back up, looking for previous highs. We could get support at the volume high also, but this would be a little bit nicer, and I'll tell you why here, just so that you can see. We'd be retesting these previous highs back here, right? If we came back down to our control. So this would be a pretty solid support here if we held. And then we can continue to the upside. Otherwise, we might just hold here at volume high. It's also a very valid place as well. So we'll pay attention here to what price is doing. We're already looking like we are bouncing off of this here. This looks like a pretty solid bounce off of our volume high here. So here's our market open candle here. So we have a top end of our opening range here. Bottom is here so far. We've moved quite quickly back up to the top end of our opening range. But as you can see here, we've got a pretty decent amount of liquidity sitting here. So just draw a little box here so you guys can see. This is liquidity here. Very bullish on the day, obviously. Market has moved since the opening of last night. The Nasdaq has moved 392 points, 2% already. Is the total move today on the day. This is actually starting to shape up and look like one of my favorite setups. If we don't break this high here, the problem is, though, not the problem, just what I have to understand is we still have not made a reversal. We're still very bullish on the day. So even if we don't break these highs, what I'm going to be looking for is a pullback to look to go long. This is one of my favorite setups here to continue in the direction that market is moving. You have a very nice strong push that breaks previous structure. You have very clear liquidity here prior to the break in structure. You have a very quick move back into liquidity that's rejected. This candle here would have been a beautiful entry to continue to the downside here. The reason why I'm not taking this, though, is because we are so bullish on the day. Even if we do, end up coming back down here, the chances are that we may continue another bounce here. So we actually, you can see some liquidity down in this area here. So if this was support here, and you can see the liquidity build up in this general area here, if this was support, you can think of this as a liquidity grab. I need to see a little bit more confirmation of that. So I'd like to see another wick or two come down here and not break. Very similar setup to what we took yesterday. And we could continue to the downside. I'm not saying that this isn't, still a good setup. I just would rather not take this just because of how bullish we are today and the past couple of days, right? And it's Friday, last trading day of the week. Market may want to close on the higher end. So I'd rather be on the side of where price is moving than go against it. But normally this would be a really nice setup to continue a move. So we're pushing back into our liquidity zone. What I'd like to see here for confirmation is if we do break out of here, then I'll look for, a retest, and then we can continue, hopefully moving to the high side here. All right, initial close of the first 15 candle. It's pretty bullish. Take a look at that real quick. So we moved right down to our volume high, bounced right off of that really strong, and now we may be continuing to the upside. Like I said, may. We just got to keep watching. There's another rejection out of this liquidity area, and another hold down here. All right, we're breaking all these candles here. This may be starting to change my mind. We had 1, 2, 3 dips into this liquidity area. Each time we got strong rejection here, and each time we could not break previous highs. I still think that long positions today are going to be safer, so I'm just going to wait for price to come back down to our volume high here and see if we retest. And again, I would not be upset if we came down to our control, retesting highs of, what is that, Asia session, Europe session? Yeah. To really grab, a little bit more liquidity here to maybe continue moving to the upside. But we'll see. We'll just wait for the right opportunity here. So we're still trading in the funded account, which looks a little different this morning. When you first get your Express account, this is actually a nice strong push right back down to volume high here. We may have some more downside. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so they give you your balance as 50K, and then they give you a drawdown of $2,000. So yesterday I profited $752 was the first trade that I took in the funded account here. It was a nice trade. If you guys missed it, go check out the live session yesterday. We walked away, kept our profits. This morning I logged into the account, and now my account balance, instead of being $50,752, it's just $752. With my drawdown now being $1,247 instead of the $2,000. So the trailing drawdown, I understand. But I was not aware that your account balance changes once you go into the green, I guess, in your funded account. So who knows? We'll see how this all works out. They don't really explain that to you anywhere. I was under the impression that once you took your first payout, your drawdown moves from, 48,000 being your max to 50,000 being your max. All right, looks like we're getting some wide consolidation here, really. Trading in a range a little bit here. So This could be position building. Question is who's building a position to make what move. You got plenty of sellers up here, which is very, very clear. But the buyers are stepping in down here as well. Oh, wow.
The market is open.
Starting to get some volatility now. All right, we might get a pretty good move through our volume high here. It's holding pretty well there. Lots of volume on this candle here. All right, watch for a continued push to the downside. Yeah, here we go. You know what? We have data coming out in a couple minutes. Maybe that's why we're getting some volatility here. So let's hold off on getting into a position for now. Let's wait for, we have factory orders month over month with which will be a decent reaction probably because of the tariffs alone. Then you have your durable goods and core durable goods revised. So those might be a little bit less of an impact. That was a really, really nice stop there. But honestly, I'm pretty sure we're going to be range trading here until we get those numbers. So let's just let's hang out for a few minutes and wait for the big move. Take a look at the Fed rate monitor and see if anything has changed after the numbers come out. Because honestly, with the jobs data this morning, that kind of puts the Fed back in a position where they don't need to do anything. Oh yeah, we jumped right up to 98.6% of a no cut in May for next week, May 7th. So that jumped pretty substantially. And we did decrease a little bit for June's. Oh, actually, okay. So we're pricing in more of a chance of no cut in June. Just a couple days ago, when I looked at this earlier this week, we were pricing in about I think a 60% chance that we were going to get a 25 basis point cut in June. Now it looks like we're more chance expecting no cut, and that aligns pretty well with the data this morning. So now our first cut doesn't look like expectations have it in July for our first possible cut. So yeah, that makes sense. So the problem is, here's where we need to be careful. Market expectations at this point for the past couple days has been more cuts and less tariffs as the year goes on. We get data out this morning, and now that is already shifting, right? For at least the Fed cuts. Okay, so when you get those expectations and markets rally on that, and then those expectations aren't met, and they're basically squashed, that's when you're going to end up repricing in, going lower, because now you're pushing back rate cuts. And so as long as we continue to get decent data, there is absolutely no reason for the Fed to do anything right now. They can just maintain where they're at. And once we start to climb out of the tariff war and this and that and the other thing, then they can start cutting again slowly. But as of right now, good earnings. Tech is still doing really well with earnings. Even their outlooks have been pretty good. Some companies are saying meh. And good job data still. We're still holding steady in jobs. And we're still holding steady with inflation, maybe a little bit of a tick up, which is, normal and expected with tariffs. So there is no reason for the Fed to start cutting. So the more the market prices in additional cuts this year, every time we get to one of those meetings and the Fed shuts it down, you're going to see a decrease in the market. So that's where we're sitting right now, 98.6% chance of no cut in May, which we kind of knew anyway. The first cut we were expecting or starting to price in was in June, but now that's changed. To June, we're now at a 60% chance of no cut in June as well. So we'll see. All right, we got about 40 seconds here until our data comes out. And you can see, like I said, we're range trading here, or wide consolidation, until that data comes out at 10 o'clock. And then we'll get a move, whatever it's going to be. So you don't want to be in any of this junk. We had really, really nice market structure back here. And then we're getting this volatility range trading here because we have more data coming out in about 10 seconds. So the big hitter here is factory orders month over month. Let's see what we get and how the market reacts to it. And then we can start to build a plan on how and when we're going to get in to grab some gains today as well. Okay, waiting for the numbers here. Expectations, just so we're on the same page here, for factory orders month over month is 4.5%. That's up from 0.6% last month. That's expectations. So let's see just by the way the price is reacting here, it's not really moving much. I wonder if we came in right at expectations. So we're still waiting here. All right, factory orders month over month actual is 4.3%. So 0.2% lower than expectations, but still growth from the 0.6% that we were at last month. So a little lower than expectations, but still up in the same area as what we were expecting. So maybe that's, let's let the market digest here and see what it wants to do with that. Durable goods revised. The actual was 9.2%. The forecast or previous was 9.2%. So no revision on that, I guess. And then core remained at 0% as well, and that's what the previous one was also. So no change in that either. All right, so kind of moot. I would then maybe expect that we continue our move to the upside today. So nothing bad came out. All right, so here's the report for your orders. New orders for manufactured goods in March, up 3 consecutive months, increased $25.7 billion, or 4.3%. Shipments are down. All right, here we go. So we might be finally continuing our move here to the upside. Remember, we have lots of liquidity sitting here. This was an area of rejection 3 times here so far, so let's pay attention here. What I would like to see to be able to continue the idea of longs today is a break above our liquidity zone. And then basically what I'll look for is a retest, and then we can look to get in. If we break out of our liquidity here, honestly, this is going to be more than enough liquidity to break highs of the day, I would imagine. Look at that jump there, right? They just ran with this liquidity here. Really nice. So now we're heading right back up to highs of the day. You're going to have plenty of liquidity sitting up here as well that honestly is going to get used to probably rocket this this move up above highs of the day. Lots of volume coming in here, as you can see. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that data, I don't think. Again, I'm not a pro, so I don't, but just looking at the numbers and reading the report there, it didn't seem to be bad, and obviously the market agrees so far. Plenty of volume coming in here on this move up. We are most likely going to break highs of the day, and that liquidity here, I would imagine, is going to continue to push price up. And then we'll just look for a pullback somewhere so that we can continue with the move. That's actually a pretty big rejection there. We didn't quite make it. Yeah, let's see if we have enough liquidity now to break these highs. That was actually a nice little pullback and retest of our tops here within the liquidity zone. And like I said, the fact that we pushed above our peak here and moved outside of the liquidity here gives me a little bit more conviction that we are moving to the upside still. But that depends on what we have sitting up here too. Could just be double topping here. Thank you. Appreciate you. Breakfast is served. We're actually struggling here a little bit. Okay. So all we need is one good strong push past here into the liquidity that you know is sitting up here, right? You have stop losses, you have take profits, you have traders that are gonna break out trade, they're gonna add orders up here once we break. So far, you got a lot of sellers sitting up here. Could be a lot of take profit happening here too. Just below the highs. On the 15-minute chart, we still look like we're moving higher as of right now. So got some liquidity sitting underneath here, which is the same area that we were targeting or looking at before. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a big push right past our tops here in the next minute or so. Boom. There it is. All right, now we just got to make sure this isn't a liquidity grab, and then we'll look for entry to continue moving up. Decent push with some decent strength there, but oh, there's a ton of volume that came in on that as well. So yeah, that's a good strong candle there. Yeah. Now, price did exactly what I thought we were going to do. Come back down to our volume high, retest. So would have been a great opportunity here if we weren't sitting on waiting on data. And I don't like to trade when, we have high impact data coming out like that. You just never know. You're gambling. One of the things that I've learned and looking back on my years of trading and my years of failing is the patience to wait for retests is probably one of the most important thing. I know you feel like you're missing out on something, especially if it's running. And if it continues to run and leaves you behind, it is what it is. But to get that perfect setup, that perfect trade, it's on a retest. It is what it is. And to have that patience, that's what really started to excel my trading, is waiting for the retests. And if it never comes back and retests and it just leaves you behind, like, oh, well, you got to be okay with saying, all right, we'll wait for the next opportunity. So we did get a retest basically here. Let me get rid of this because, oops, stop that. Well, I'll just move this one, I suppose. You can see the liquidity build up now underneath here. And this is the liquidity that was used to push up and make new highs of the day. We have not broken out of this liquidity yet. We came in and this is a valid retest. We did not break below. But we're struggling a little bit here, but the direction is still upwards, right? It just didn't give me really any room here. This would be too wide of a stop for me, especially being at the top, for me to use this to get in. I would rather see a decent continuation here saying like, yes, price wants to continue moving up today, and then get a good, retest in an area where it doesn't look like it may fail, right? This being at the tops here, it's too close, So let's get a continuation and a good one, right? To basically say, yes, we are moving up today. We're going to continue moving up today. And then wait for your retest, look for some more liquidity build up, and then continue that to the upside. Nice strong close on the 15-minute. Right, came down, hit our volume low twice here. Really, really nice push up above and close up above highs of the day, creating new highs of the day. So direction is still very bullish. Again, I'd like to see a continuation. That 15-minute candle there alone shows me conviction. Now we just wait for an entry. Nice continuation there. You got some good volume on that push up there also. More confirmation that price wants to continue moving up today. So now if we came back down and retested this zone here, wouldn't even have to come down that far. Even just somewhere in this general area here would be a good place. If it doesn't, bacon. A little bit of a fast pullback here. Okay, that was nice. I like to see this resistance as soon as we tapped into our... Oh, that's a little too much. Okay, yeah. So we broke out here to the downside. I don't know if I like that. Getting some pushback here, though. So I don't like how quickly price fell back down here and actually broke past all of these wicks here. Makes me feel like there's some more downside left. Mm-hmm. So let me just tell you what I'm looking at here. Because this does look really nice down here, right? Really, really nice liquidity here. You know, maybe continue to the upside. The one thing that's keeping me from getting in here is this candle here that wicked below our liquidity. Now, does that mean that we are most does that mean that we have to continue to the downside? No. This could be exactly what we were hoping for, and we continue moving to the upside. This just, I'm not convinced. not convinced. And we've already made a huge move today, the NASDAQ, right? From bottoms up to our highs here now. It's 425 points, 2.15%. Doesn't mean that it can't go higher, but, you know, just not the setup for me. That's all. It's not an A+ setup for me. Once this wicked out, it doesn't become you know, an A+ setup for me. I think I need to stand. And at this point in my trading process, I'm only looking for the right trades. There's no need to be in unnecessary trades or be chasing trades. You know, it took me 3 years to get funded. I'm not gonna throw it away. Oh, that's a little bit better. Oh, too much standing. Or too much sitting. Sorry. I did not get much sleep last night. Oof. Every day gets me closer and closer to never having to work nights again. That's what I just, you know, keep telling yourself it's this or it's what you got now. And if you're doing this, probably because you don't like what you got now or just don't want to do it anymore. Okay. Still making progress to the upside here. That's fine. I think for me at this point, if there's one thing that doesn't look right for me, I'm just not going to take the trade. And I think that's the right way to do this, you know, instead of just taking every single setup that looks good, but it's not an A+ setup, you know? Yeah, this looks totally, I mean, this looks fantastic. Except for this one little wick here. That, for me, just turned me off for this trade completely. And the fact that we move so quickly back down here. Yeah, we got a bounce. That's good. Let's see how far we go. Again, keeping in mind that we've already moved 500 points today. So it's gotta be perfect for me. Especially when we're up in the highs. Nice strong close on that 15-minute candle as well. Another quick move back to the downside here. Kind of showing a little bit of exhaustion for the buyers. Being able to pull back this quickly here. And not a very far reach. So yeah, we made progress to the upside. Wasn't much. And again, we are getting a very quick pullback here. So we might be getting a little tired up here for the buyers. So let's see if they can hold on. Bring our level over here again just to see. Pretty decent volume on that pullback as well. All right, let's see how far sellers are going to push price down this time. So you can see we're still at the top end of our trading range here so far, but very minimal orders and volume up here. And the more time we spend up here, we're not really seeing any nodes really starting to pop out, which would be telling us that, yeah, price is starting to shift upward. Obviously, you get a decent one down in this area here, which we knew from here. Not much going on right now here. So far, the buyers are doing a good job keeping price up here, but you can also see where price is being pretty much stopped right at the top of our range here. We are starting to get a little bit of a build out here, which is pretty evident from our consolidation here. If we start breaking lows here, I'd be careful. Buyers are still stepping up. Still stuck consolidating here. Yeah, 431 points. The NASDAQ has moved today from lows to highs. All right. Pretty good push there. Can we make new highs again? Still an upward trend, and according to our volume profile, buyers are still in control because we are up in the higher range here, right? But that can change. There you go. There's your push below. It's very strong candle here. Let's see if we get the volume with it. Yeah, pretty decent volume there. This is still uptrend here, right? So don't be fooled by this stuff. You gotta wait for confirmation one way or the other. We're still sitting on the higher end of our profile here, so do not be fooled by these. So I'm concerned that we might be done here and that we might be turning, but that doesn't mean that I'm confident in that, right? So I'm just watching for both. We either break highs and continue moving higher, or we're gonna have a reversal start forming here. You know, the other thing we could do too is kind of just consolidate here or slowly move up. You know, a couple different things that can happen here, but if we don't break above our highs of the day here with some pretty decent conviction and volume, you know, I might be a little less apt to continue taking longs just because we're not showing a lot of strength and continuation. And honestly, we couldn't even break the highs here. We couldn't even break these highs. So with a pretty decent rejection there, decent amount of volume with it. Buyers are still holding price up above this area for now. So it's just a sit and wait situation. I don't want to trade against the trend, but the trend might be changing, right? We just have to wait to see what's what. There's nothing wrong with consolidating here until the buyers gain enough strength again to continue pushing higher, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to extend this to here now because this was used to push back up. So this entire area is still considered liquidity here. Because you'd really have to break below this wick again to start thinking about reversal. And for a confirmation of a complete reversal, you need to break these lows here. Because there's nothing that says that price can't come back down to a volume high again before continuing up and making new highs today. That would still be an uptrend, you know? All right. All right. I'm going to step away for a couple minutes here. Take a little break, let this kind of do what it's going to do because I'm not getting into anything in here anyway. Um, and I will be back in a few. All right, we're back here. See, price took a little bit of a plunge here, tapped into our liquidity zone again. I got a really nice strong push back up and out. But we are still getting some resistance up here. So let's see. Yeah, nice push through there. Yeah, this might be enough to at least get to previous highs. I don't know. We're still being held below our top end of the range here. Really not much going on here. I mean, really little movements here. Really getting stuck here. I mean, this makes sense. Obviously, your control has moved up slowly. That's, this green line here. This is fair value right now. So we're both buyers and sellers agree on price. But you can see how we're still making lower highs also. So I would still just be careful if you're still thinking longs. And again, we could be tapping into this liquidity here, could be however many times it needs to make a move to the upside. Just depends on what your risk evaluation is if you want to try that. Slow Friday. And then we had news twice today, really. So the move, you had one move that was made here, and then you had a decent move that was made off of our volume low here up to new highs. Maybe that was it for today, I just read something. It says if the S&P 500 closes up on the highs today, what was that? Is that over here? Yeah, S&P 500 on track for longest winning streak in more than 20 years. I don't know how to take that. Is it a trap? I don't know that we're logically in a position, economically, to have that kind of winning streak, it's almost like it's for no reason, you know? It's just hype and speculation. Longest winning streak in more than 20 years on speculation. Really, because that's, the market's climbing because it's expecting tariffs to come down and for there to be, rate cuts from the Fed. That's speculation. There's no, rhyme or reason to that. And you're getting your longest winning streak in 20 years based off of speculation. I don't know about that. I mean, hey, if we keep going, whatever, I feel like there's still a shoe, though, that may drop. All right, quick little bounce up almost to highs of the day. We're just about there. We might have a little bit more. This little tap into liquidity here might have been enough. See. All right, getting a little rejection there off of the tops. We didn't quite make it up to highs of the day there. Oh. We're going to power through. We might. $15-minute chart still looks pretty bullish. So we might have some more upside here still. As the market tanks while I say that. Still very slow moving here. Can we push up? Quite boring today, is what it is. Sometimes it be like that. If you guys are members in the Discord, I left the poll in there. Go and check that out. Couldn't quite reach up enough again here. Hard to tell what we're doing. I mean, I don't know if we're just building a position here. Still very clearly in an uptrend. Tape's starting to move now. We're starting to get some orders in. Looks like a little inflow of sell orders. Let's make a move here. Price looks like he wants to break out here. Let's see if we get a breakout. There it is. There's your breakout. Let's see if it's sustained. Not a real big move here. Not a real big move at all. So we did finally push past highs of the day, making new highs, but we have not really progressed very far. Take a look at the bigger picture here. Hmm. Really not much movement here at all. All right, watch the selling pressure come in here. The orders are flowing. Okay. Might be getting a little bit of a drop here. All right, taking out liquidity there. Oh, 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 oh. The suspense. Got volume building up here. Watch for your break below this wick here. If we break below this wick, we might be moving. Buyers are doing a good job here keeping price up. Hello there. How are you? Oh yeah, we might be falling here. I do not trade Forex. I've tried both Forex and crypto. I did not do well. So I stick with NASDAQ futures. I do pay attention to crypto a little bit though. Forex, I really know nothing about Forex. Okay, definitely got some downside here. I'm getting more and more convinced that we might be turning, but we are still technically in an upward trend, right? But on the 15-minute, it might be looking like we're turning. So let's... So we really haven't closed above highs of the day yet. We've peaked above, but we're getting a pretty good rejection now. So we might be changing direction here. At least to go back to our volume high here. We may not go past this, but we might be heading back here. Which strategy do I follow? I just look for liquidity, and I trade with the trend usually, but I just look for liquidity. So This blue square here that you can see is marked out liquidity, and you can tell that by all of these wicks here. This one here even, so this is where buyers are sitting, right? We have obviously lots of orders here. So I look for price to move into and react appropriately in our areas of liquidity. And I look for positions in and out based on that. So it's really just liquidity and price action. I set key levels here from previous days volume off of a volume profile. That's it. I don't use any indicators or anything like that. Just liquidity. No, I'm not. Married and with children. All right. Yeah, we're about to close our first pretty bearish candle here on the 15-minute chart, and we're actually pushing into the close. So let's see. I would really like to see price break this liquidity zone, and then we can maybe look for an entry to target our volume high here again, if not more. But that all depends on what the market gives us here. All right, sellers are coming in here. If we do move into the 15-minute chart, you can see really this whole area is liquidity. So anywhere in here. So if we break below here, more than likely that we do come down further. If we don't, and we hold in here, then we could be heading back up. It actually doesn't look too bad. Really nice strong push again out of our liquidity zone here. It's not really leaving me any good position to get in though. This is too much of a stop for me, especially if you're only targeting previous highs. So I'm here to talk trading, and that's it. If you have questions about trading or whatever, you're more than welcome to stay. Otherwise, if you're interested in other things, then you can just go ahead and leave the channel. That'd be okay. retesting our bottoms here. Basically still stuck in this consolidation here. We haven't really made much of a move in either direction. So the smart thing to do would really be, again, waiting for a break below here. How much more upside we have, really, no idea. Taking longs here, unless you get a decent position down here that you can target previous highs. But past that, I don't know. The last 15-minute candle showed a pretty good rejection here, so I don't know that you have much higher than what we've already made here today. Not to say that you don't, but to be cautious, I wouldn't be targeting anything higher than previous highs. I would be getting out at that point if you're going to take a long position. For me, it's just not worth the risk. Yeah, we're still consolidating here. Not really much we can do. Yeah, find a paper trading account somewhere and pick a strategy. There's tons of them out there. I'm not going to tell you what works and what doesn't because it's different for everybody. Stick to that strategy and paper trade until you find yourself very, very consistent, and then take a very small amount of funds, put it in a live account, and continue to trade that same system that has been working for you. A piece of advice: when you go from paper trading to live trading, it is very different. In paper trading, there's no emotion involved because it's fake money. There's no attachment. When you put real money on the line, everything changes. So your mindset is the first thing that you have to get right to become successful in trading. And that's exactly how I did it. Took 3 years. We're 3 years in, and I've just recently become funded through a prop firm. So it takes a long time. It is most certainly not a get rich quick thing. And if you believe that that's what it is, I wouldn't even start if I were you. I'm from America. All right, I'm going to give it a few more minutes here, and then I'm going to hop off. I have another engagement that I have to be at 12, so we'll be cutting the live session in a few minutes here. I was kind of hoping we would get a move to the downside here, but the day is very, very bullish. And quite honestly, we may just consolidate up in this area here for a little while. You might get a little bit more of a push up once we reach the afternoon time. You could get a pullback, but I would imagine with the S&P being on its longest winning streak in 20 years, the price is probably going to stay up in this general area, or at least close up here to reach that achievement, I would think. So as I explained before, I use price action and liquidity. You can scroll back in the video if you need to. I explained what I do. Yeah. So on the 15-minute, you can see this little range that we're trading in now. Who knows how long we'll stay in here. There's absolutely nothing that shows a reversal happening. So honestly, I would think more upside than I would downside at this point. Again, that can change based on, price action. But as of right now, we're just trading in this range here. We don't trade within ranges. So at least I don't. All right, so I think that's going to be it for me today. I appreciate all of you guys watching. Appreciate your support. And if you guys need any help with trading and trading only, I am here to help. I'm still, I would say a intermediate, trader. I'm not a professional by any means. I am funded. We're working our way to becoming profitable. If you guys want to chit chat about trading and, you want me to give my advice and help, you can join the Discord. Link is in the description for that. I just will warn that the Discord and this channel is for trading and trading only. I have absolutely no problem booting people and banning people if you're going to spam the channel or the Discord or want to talk about other things. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to help other people learn how to trade and become profitable and change their life. That's what I'm here for. So if you guys are all for that, subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. Like, comment, share, all those things. Turn on notifications. I come on live every single day that the market is open. And join the Discord. Again, link is in the description down below. Be careful the rest of the day today. Like I said, we are stuck in this consolidation here for now. Price really can move in any direction from here. It's a 50-50, maybe 55-45 to the upside. But just be careful. We've already made 2 large moves today. So be very, very picky with your trades if you are going to get in today. Other than that, stay green, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all on Monday.